Welcome to Actually Controller, the podcast that is actually Controller, and we are actually in control of everything you are hearing right now. I'm so very sorry. God, I hate you sometimes, Bob.
Hello.
What up, everyone?
Hey, freaks.
Hello.
Welcome back to Actually Controller episode
So very sorry.
What is this?
12?
Is it 12?
No, it's not
13?
12.
13.
It's hard to keep track because of where
Is it
we're at
lucky
in
number
real life
13?
versus editing life.
No, I think
Oh.
I think this is episode 12. I went
Holy
into an
cow.
editing blur this week, so
And
we should just jump right into introductions so our guest can
Yes.
actually join in.
So
yes,
so
we have a special guest today.
we do have
Yeah.
a special guest.
Super special.
Super special.
So right here I've got I'm Chris.
Yep.
I'm Bob.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Steve, and
And
today
we
we
have-
have
Fallon.
Fallon.
Welcome.
Hey Fallon.
welcome.
Fallon.
So I've always wondered, how do you say your last name?
Mons.
Mons.
It's German.
I try to go Mons.
Yeah.
Mounds.
I wasn't sure if I should include my last name, but nobody probably knows how to
No,
pronounce
they will.
it. So
They will
Fallon
here
Mons.
soon because
That's how
we're gonna plug your photography. We're gonna
I
plug
appreciate that.
you in general because you're a wonderful person.
Thank you.
That's how my last name is too. It's
So,
German, and
yeah, it's-
if you
it's
look at it,
Mons?
it's Psalm, but
Mons.
Months.
It's the spelling throws everybody off. So
For sure. You know what's really funny? My dad, for my lifetime, pronounced it Mons until like 5 years ago, and then he changed it up, and he's like, "It's Muns," and I'm like, "Dad,
no.
I was like 25. I was like, I'm not changing how I
my
pronounce
dad used to
my
get
last
offended
name
if people
now."
didn't put the two
my
L's.
wife literally
yeah.
cannot go to a family reunion and have everybody actually pronounce their last name the same. It's all pending on which relative you ask. If it's Fiesel, Faisal, there's multiple different
Wow.
pronunciations
That's how my
at the
family
family
is.
reunion.
See, my name's phonetic, so it's very.
Yeah.
Mine's pretty basic.
Except people still say Christopher. There's one F.
I don't know. Yours could easily be misconstrued as Pearson.
It could. I've been called Person. Or is your last name Person?
Person,
Yep.
yeah.
You're forgetting the A.
This is a weird start to our
Yep.
conversation, but anyway, just want to make sure we introduce Fallon.
Yep.
Yes.
Who is a photographer in the scene, trying to do some more stuff. If you want to share that later on.
Yeah.
But Black Siren Photography, Black Siren Media
Black Siren Productions.
Productions.
We
That's
had it
right.
right.
almost got there.
I, sorry, I've been off social media for a month, so
fair.
I usually
Good for
share and follow
You
our
got
stuff
banned.
and yeah, I appreciate it. So I did. So to Bob's question, to start it off, I did want to show and brag something that she did for us.
Oh yeah.
So we did our very first tour. I don't know which camera to show.
Either one.
I
Our
know.
very,
Like,
very
which one do I
first
look
tour,
at?
and she came in clutch because we were going to be opening Metal in the Mountains,
Yes.
and our photographer in the north failed.
yeah.
Pretty horrible.
We won't go
Yeah.
down that avenue.
No.
but
we'll just say that we did a long
but we
drive
reached out
for
to Fallon.
no
and I said,
reason.
"Hey, girl, we need a photographer. we will take care of you. We'll pay you whatever your rate is, but we need something turned." It was like less than a week, like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
We had a couple days worth of turnover time
So-
between when the promo guy was like, "Hey, I need the headshots." It's
Yeah.
like, cool.
So she's like, cool. She's like, you just looking for a picture? Yeah, we just need something so we can submit to this big festival. Like, we'll make sure we tag you, which we tagged her here and there. We just need one picture, and it turned into like a full blown. Hey, the weather's coming in. Let's do this whole photo shoot. Let's go.
Yeah.
You
Like,
can't just do
what,
us
9 locations
one
in this
shot, one
park? Like, we were
kill,
everywhere.
so.
But
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, and honestly, if you look at that photo, that was one of the not intended
That's awesome.
locations. I think that one was one of the last minute. Screw it. Let's try to grab something
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here before
That was a
we
spot
walk
I
out the
really
door.
wanted to do, and
yeah, it
everybody was against
we
it.
We were leaving, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the not
We heard you,
intended
Bob.
locations.
I know. Hey, it is what it is.
So anyway, Black Siren Productions.
Yeah.
Thank you for what's become one of our major photos now instead of
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a whim.
I was so stoked when you guys hit me up to do that. Like, even last minute, I'm thankful and grateful that I was able to arrange it, know, because not all the time is my life as chill as it is right now.
Yeah.
But
We all completely understand.
Yeah. We get that.
What do you mean, chill?
I mean, it's
Got no chill.
Right.
You really don't.
it's a chaotic chill, trust me. But
I just slave driven to like a 10-hour rehearsal today, so it's cool.
Yeah, we
yeah,
started
you're
it
chilling.
too. It's fine.
Just chilling.
It's fine.
But yeah, that day was super fun, and it was supposed to be, probably much shorter of a shoot. But you can't do a one shot, one kill ever. Like when somebody's
Right.
like, "I just need a couple photos." No, you don't. You need a standard shoot, to be honest, and that's what it's probably going to be.
Right.
when you're working with me. Like,
Or you need a couple shots, but it's going to be but those weren't the actual shots I needed.
So
So
I
let's
guess-
go
or
do
it's gonna
other
be
ones.
shots afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
were
did those too.
we did.
Yeah, we did right down the road.
Yeah,
That was a lot
we
of
ran
fun.
around the corner and took care of that as well.
Yeah.
So Fallon, are we photogenic?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. You guys were pretty easy
think I look
to
horrible
place
in photos.
and pose, and
Now, you've shot
So we
one
took
of our live
orders,
shows
okay.
now.
Yes. Yeah.
those are my favorite, of course. Live shows are what I fell in love with, going to,
Yeah,
and what I
actually-
fell in love with shooting.
When
so.
when I first met her, I was running sound over at Skeleton still, and she came
True
up to
story.
me telling me that she wanted to take photos, and I'm like, "So get a camera and take photos."
I still lived in
That's how I do
Ohio
it.
then,
yeah,
too,
and,
though.
yeah, and I
okay.
was like, "Well, that's not an excuse. You know where the shows are at. Bring a camera.
Yeah,
come
he was
start
so
doing
supportive.
the thing."
Right.
Yeah.
Trust
So
me,
you-
no band is
so
ever
we
going to say, no, don't take photos.
Exactly.
We're going to
I
fill
know.
this gap, but you started off at Skeletons. You've shot us at Stan's Room. You've done plenty of other places, including Clyde,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pierre's.
Yep, the Clyde. I was working with them for 2 years. They've actually recently had some managerial
Oh, that happens.
changes, and pretty much dissolved the photo team, I think, and kind of left us hanging, a lot of
Doing
us.
more freelance kind of things now, probably.
So yeah, like I
Being
only
polite
shot
and
there.
professional.
I only shot there like once every 3 months, but that's still. It was still money in my pocket, and
It's something
like,
on the
my
resume.
passion,
Yeah.
Right,
like I
exactly.
love shooting for them. So that's kind of like fizzled out, but yeah.
So
I'm-
you're not just Clyde, but anything. What was
Yeah.
your favorite photo shoot? Maternity, family, whatever, anything. What's your most memorable favorite photo shoot?
let's see. I got to photograph Coheed and Cambria at the Clyde.
That's pretty
They were one of my favorites
Very
from
nice.
years
It's
ago.
bucket list right there. Seeing
Yeah.
them and shooting them. There you go.
Yeah, and they played one of my like favorite, kind of underrated songs, like as one of their opening, 3 songs, which is all we get to shoot at larger
Right.
venues. Is the
Three-
first 3,
three in
and
the
you're
main, and then
out.
you're out.
Was it
Yep.
the
Yep,
one-arm
yep.
scissor? Was it?
Do what?
Was it the one-arm scissor?
No.
Okay. I was just wondering.
No, it was a newer one. I'm trying to remember the album. It was super underrated and nobody listened to it but me, I think. But I bought the vinyl and I listened to it on repeat. And I do that with a lot of
This is for you, Fallon.
a lot of weird, under the shelf
You're like,
type records.
yo,
I'm like, this is a masterpiece and you have no idea.
It's a B-side and no one's heard of it.
Exactly.
So I feel you on that one.
It was You've Got Spirit Kid that they did. It was the
nice.
second song though, and I just I melted,
I did that with the very
Pictures.
first Spirit Box EP before they blew up.
Oh yeah.
Because I got it when they released it through Pale Chord. They hadn't been signed on to Rise yet, so they just only gotten 500 copies made.
Dang.
They
I don't
hadn't
listen
actually
to
gotten
music,
managed
so I
to
don't
sell
have
them
any
out.
stories like that.
Stop.
Yeah, they hadn't managed to sell them out or anything because nobody knew who they were still. So
That's
I
wild.
got in on that, and then about a year later, all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Spirit Box is like, oh, those guys."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
God.
he's just so
So
cool.
with discretion and confidentiality, your worst photo shoot was it outdoors weather? Was it just a bad location?
Yeah, we're not going to
some
name
real
names.
bad
We're not naming
client.
names.
You can say clients. You don't have to say bands or people. Just
Yeah.
client.
Actually, just don't because
Unless
that
it's
would be
really
bad.
yeah. With your best discretion. If you can't keep it low key, let's not. We'll
You
just
know-
say it. If
Retake.
it's very specific detail. They're like, oh, that's me.
We'll
And
just
don't worry,
Oh,
if
that
it's
was
a really bad
Contrøller.
one, this is all edited. This
Yeah.
isn't live. I can edit everything.
Just in general, I can kind of keep that general. If the lighting is so poor or red,
You're just gonna say you mean red lights?
well, for shows, definitely red. If it's all red and you're not going to do anything about it, and the lighting guy's not going to do anything about it, if red's all you got, and you pay me to come shoot you,
Yeah.
that really sucks for both of us.
Yeah.
As far as weddings or events in general, if it's a very dimly lit, like, I don't know, think like VFW,
Yeah.
something with really bad lighting.
You're trying to set the ambiance, but you're not really. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
like,
and I
'cause-
hate using
Wish I could
flash.
get
I don't
that.
really use flash unless I absolutely have to, sort of thing. It's just, I don't know, it's a
Did you-
nuisance, and you can't for concerts.
Yeah. You
So
can't
I always
bring, like,
learned
wash
without.
lights or anything.
Right.
I always learned to shoot without a flash because you couldn't for shows,
Yeah.
and it is a nuisance. A lot
Got
of
some
the time,
guitarist
so.
walks up.
No,
Yeah.
I've actually had that happen, and then I'm like, now that I'm on the other side, I'm like, oh, that's why. You're just
Got ya.
drumming along. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Flashbang.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
Honestly, talking about that, I was at the Static X show. I am so blown away they did not have a seizure warning on
Are
that
you
show.
serious?
Just the other night.
Yes,
You went?
there was so
Strobes.
much strobe going
I feel
on.
like that's every Clyde show. for
But I feel
sure.
like I feel like if you know Static X, you should have been ready.
Well,
for it.
yeah,
but it wasn't only their set. It was Dope set, it was Fear Factory set, and it was Static X set.
That's surprising.
Wow.
All
Yeah.
three
Usually
of
the
them
openers don't get
were
all that.
full.
I know. That's what I
All
was
three
thinking.
of
Let's
them.
just set the lights on auto, turn the volume down just a
Yeah.
little less
Lots of
bass.
red and
That was a lot more
purple.
the way that it went for Cultist Black. They kind of just got their light set, and
Yep.
that was that. But I think because all three of them were technically the headliners on a rolling package.
Me and my friend were going to go to that for Mushroom Head, who I've never seen, and they dropped the last of the tour.
I
after
don't know if you
Michigan
saw
Date.
what
I heard
happened.
why, though, yeah.
No.
So it looks like their semi-trailer got tipped backwards, and all of the rig completely dumped out the back.
Shut
It is in a
up.
massive pile. I was looking at Stitch's
Dang.
post,
Yep, yep.
and it is their entire lighting rig. It is all of their equipment. It is their
Wow.
IEM. Everything is laying in a massive pile on the ground.
That's interesting. They
With the
finished up
doors
the last
blown
few
open on the
dates.
trailer.
Like they let everybody know like 4 or 5. Well, they let everybody know. I had to dig for it, but like 4
Yeah.
or 5 days in advance, they were like, "We're playing till I think the 25th or something."
They
like
probably
that.
got some loaner gear from the other bands on
Is
the
that
bill.
what they? Yeah.
And they're like,
Just
"Can
to-
you please get us through these?" And then
Yeah.
Yeah, Fort Wayne was probably
Dang.
like, oh, here's the first show afterwards. We got to figure it out.
Well, I
Yep.
just, if they were in Fort Wayne, I mean, and they were playing.
Sweetwater.
I mean, you know.
They didn't even make it here, though. That's the
No,
thing.
they didn't make
If
it
they
here.
were- They did
Come, man, like, they
Canada
could've
and then
easily.
one Michigan date, and the Michigan date was the last one, and then they were done. And I
well, and they probably opted that way because it was easier to just head home because they're
yeah,
in Cleveland.
that's what I was. Mm-hmm.
Makes
So it was just easier for them to head home right after the Michigan
I
date.
didn't know they were.
I just figure since
Yep.
you're already here in Fort Wayne, then we got Sweetwater.
But they weren't in Sweetwater.
See, I tried to do that
area.
with Nonpoint when they had their trailer. She was like, "Come on, bring them. We can hook them up." I
Yeah.
was like, "We can get them some gear somehow."
Insurance claims don't quite work.
But then
that
the show
way.
got pushed to my birthday, and I was like, "Okay, we're cool."
Yay! So,
That's fine too.
That's an epic birthday because we opened. So
but kind of to steer everything back a little bit. So yes, you've done the photography thing, and that's kind of where you've leaned into lately.
Yes.
But a big part of what you also used to do, and I don't know how prevalent you're still trying to be with this, is you used to do a lot of local promotional work and
Yeah.
booking and
and running
all that
that's
stuff.
how we met. I think. I
think
don't
that is
remember
how we
a
met.
specific story, but it did involve another individual. We won't mention names.
Dude, and before
But-
we get into it, I gotta
I met
say
you.
I am super proud of you because every show that you put together went off without a pop. It was so
Thank
good,
you.
and you did all the business. I heard nothing but good things
Thank you.
about working with you. So
I appreciate it.
I could attest because of the show we did. She took care of the green room. It was one of those things like for local artists, that's just a small thing that you don't like. Oh, we have a green room, yay! But then like there's snacks and there's water and there's drinks and we're like, oh, we have a green room.
Yeah.
This is
I
cool.
didn't just get a
Like-
a cubby where it's
Yeah.
like this
Like,
is where you change
Here's-
without
here's
everybody
where you can
walking in
change-
on
yep,
you.
Yep. You're not in the bathroom. Here's a place that. Yep. Make
And
sure-
I really leaned into that because I don't know, but friendships are important to me, networking is important to me, and what a better way to make bands feel like friends and special than to take great care of them.
really.
And I'm just a personable person, so like
I
any
actually ripped that page from your book and did that for my birthday show,
I
and had a
appreciate
whole
that.
bunch of snacks and stuff up for the bands.
Yeah,
We
and
were
I always
trying to
made
also
sure
help
to
a little more, but you
Yes.
opted not on
No,
that.
the snacks were. I mean, come on. There's.
I know.
I was fun. That whole show was out of my pocket.
Listen,
Oh, I know.
At one point when I first started, I was so excited. I wanted to get like O's Pizza for the band. I'm not kidding. I wanted, and then I found out it was 20 a pop, and I was like, oh, I can't get O's Pizza for 5 bands.
No. Well, you can if you get your own pizza slicer and you opt for the slicing
Pizza
sides.
Kings.
Yeah, I'm like, can I get $1 off each if I get them frozen? Like, what can we do here?
I'll cook it.
Cut 'em
Okay.
squares like 2 inches each. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, where were we?
But yeah, you used to be in the promo and everything
Welcome,
like that. Yeah.
welcome to actually controlling.
Yeah, welcome
Where
to
we're
the
actually
podcast.
controlling.
Yeah.
nothing.
No, ever.
Oh, so how I got started with that?
yeah, and if you're still actually wanting to get back into
Yeah.
that component of everything.
So I
like,
got,
yeah, no.
I got involved. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I got involved just by knowing a lot of DJs, and I went to O'Sullivan's Tronic Thursdays religiously before I even moved over here, and that was like, you know, I was like 22, 23. Like that was the best night of the
yeah,
week
yeah.
was
So
Thursday
so
night
much
at
older now.
O's.
Yeah.
Yeah, 29 now. I mean,
Jesus.
this was a little while ago. So I was driving from Ohio, sleeping on friends' couches, you know, doing shoots and going to shows and going to O's and all that. And I met a lot of cool DJs, and they ended up with a spot on Harrison, you know, 1601, and we started throwing shows there. I mean, they were already throwing shows there for many years beyond, you know, prior to me coming in. But I stepped foot in that place, and I was like, I have a lot of friends in bands. I want to put one of the bands on that stage. I'm like, one of my friends' bands needs to go right up there. And then my friend was like, do it. Yeah. And so he gave me the power to do that, and I ran with it. I thought that was so cool. And in a way, I was like, yes, I can book the bands, put them on, and shoot them. And it's like win-win for everybody.
Yeah, well, I thought it was such an awesome racket for you, honestly. I'm like, you're bringing bands in, and then you're probably taking photos for them. Yeah. So it's like, I'm gonna pay you to pay me right back.
Yeah, and it could kind of go like full circle, you know.
Yeah,
I share them, they share them.
Help build your
tag each
portfolio.
other,
Yeah, building
and-
portfolios, networking. Yeah.
That's the way it's done, actually. I mean, so
Yeah, and that was super fun and stressful too, though.
Yes.
I started out doing one of those every month. I called it band night, super original.
What? What do you do on band night?
I had no idea.
This one time at band night.
There's probably
Have you ever been to
a lot of
1601?
stories
Let's
like
not.
that.
Let's
we shouldn't
a
go
lot
into
of
any of
stories
those
like
stories. None of those stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of love stories that came out of there also,
What-
including
yeah.
my own.
Oh,
So I want
that's
to touch on
true.
that.
That's true. 'cause
There's
you
a
met
lot of people
Is
who.
that how you met Michael?
Yeah, I mean, technically,
Aw.
he was doing a podcast sort of thing, like live thing on Facebook, and I chimed in because I was a new promoter, right? And I had my first show coming up at 1601, and I was like, "Hey, you should come check out
Nice.
the venue." You know, he's in the band The Green Leaves, and
Nice.
I didn't know what they were about, but I was like, I heard it on the live stream, and I was like, "Hey, they sound cool." They network and put the work in, and I knew that
They
immediately.
work hard. They do work
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah,
And
Green
so
Leaves
I
are
was
great
like,
guys.
hey, come check out the venue. And that very Friday he did. And that was the first time we met.
Called your bluff.
That
Yep.
is-
Your
that's
bluff.
freaking awesome.
You invited. This is your fault.
yeah. Yeah. And then I booked him for a show 3 months later down the road. And
She's like, and then 2 months later, and then I'm like,
And
yo,
then
what are you doing after
every-
the show? Hey, so
You want to
do
go get a
wanna-
slice?
Do you need help with your drums? Because they can sit in my house. It was something.
I got
like
something
like
you
that.
can bang
Yeah,
on.
something like that. But so again, we're usually not actually in control of anything going on the
No, wait.
episodes.
It's
dude,
us-
we are
it's usually
actually
Jeff's fault.
controller. It's not. Though.
We're actually controller, but we're never actually in
So,
control of
I
anything.
did, touching a real quick point. So you said you were 29. So you're turning 30 this year.
I
Dirty
am.
30.
So Fallon's got the Dirty 30, and
Yeah.
if you are in the area, come down to your local Main Street pizza joint, O'Sullivan's, November 4th,
November.
where I am throwing her a birthday party.
Best news I've had all year.
She said, she's like, I've never really thrown my own birthday, and I'm like, well, let's do one. She's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
She's like, well, and it was like 12 o'clock at night, and I'm like, let's do one. She's like, well, here's my birthday, and I'm like, okay, the Saturday before is November 4th. I hit up the booking manager, and within like 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, who do you want on the show? And then within another hour, I'm like, okay, 2 of the 3 bands are filled. Let's go. Let's
I
do
love
it.
so much for that.
So November 4th, if you're in the area, come celebrate Fallon's Dirty 30.
A dirty 30.
it seems pretty surreal. Like I feel like this is a imaginary date.
Even if you're not in the
like-
area, this is far enough down the line. You can be in the area.
Yeah, you can make it happen.
Um,
I know.
will-
I
let's
hope
see,
since
we
we
have-
have it planned so far in advance that like a lot of my Ohio friends come out.
I will throw out the
and-
bands, so we do have, just giving a shout out, OLC, Overseas Love Crisis is on board,
Love
and we have the local Rage Tribute,
Yes.
Inconvenienced by the System, and if you've not seen either one of those bands,
totally worth it.
totally worth checking out.
Yeah.
And we love Ben.
I put them both on our, yeah, oh,
Dude, I
yeah,
just
we
love
love
yeah,
Ben.
there's a little
OLC.
bit of connect there.
Yeah, we got-
I
we
just
love Ben.
love OLC.
Ben
Those guys
is-
are
So,
good, man.
well-
they have so much respect.
Beyond that, to kind of tie OLC to Controller, we love Ben because Ben is the reason that we were able to play a show at Pierre's.
Was that Kingdom Collapse?
Oh God, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah,
a
it was-
Kingdom
it was
Collapse
Kingdom
show,
Collapse.
but we were literally just scrambling. It's like we got offered a show at Pierre's. It's like we got no drummer. We have no drummer, and we hit up.
Classic story of every
Every band, everywhere.
Well, Chad ends up hitting up Ben because Chad's like, I'm met this guy Ben, I think up at O's or something. He's a drummer and everything, and
I love
he
how
always said
everything
if we ever need a fill-in or something, to
it
hit
really
him up.
does.
We hit up Ben. I think we only gave him 2 weeks.
Yeah.
we
Actually,
only
I
got,
think
like-
less.
I don't
think
remember.
he bum rushed
I
and
guess
had
I
it done in
don't-
like a week and a half.
I didn't know he filled in for you guys.
Yeah.
Show.
Just one show.
It was
Yep.
almost 2.
Yeah, it was almost 2, but that's how this guy ended up.
That's how I got started.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a funny story too.
Yeah, but
This
but-
isn't about Chris, okay?
It
It's
isn't.
about
Right?
me.
Let's focus on
You're right.
So
You know what,
Fallan-
Fallan, you are
Fallan.
correct. I am
Yep.
sorry.
It's
But
true.
yeah.
I am sorry.
But yeah,
all
Ben
about
ended up.
You need to
So anyway, the
hurry up.
local
Yeah.
music scene, we're all there's I mean it's like it is such a small world, even in Fort Wayne. Like knowing everybody, Fallan has a lot of musician friends and a lot of just friends.
Yeah.
We love Fallan.
Yeah, and that kind of made it easy for me to fill like the promoter role, is because like immediately, I got friends in bands who I'd love to see on that stage, and they'd love to be on any stage.
So as a promoter, if you're working with a band, give like 2 or 3 tips, like how to either help the show or help themselves help the show. Like
how to
just
for the bands?
2 or 3 pieces of advice from a promoter's standpoint. What you see.
Communication, definitely. Any needs or anything that you're expecting, like
you mean, like-
everybody should throw that out on the table ahead of time.
I mean, like
No
if
surprises.
the promoter asks for information and you just don't message back, like is that a band should
just
probably
like
do that?
If a band
Stage plots, you know what I mean?
just if a band is expecting certain equipment or certain, just anything in general.
The expectations of the show.
Yeah, like everybody will be disappointed
Green
if you don't put
M&Ms.
those out there
Yeah.
because
Green
and
M&Ms,
if
no
you are-
brown.
And if you're looking for like payout, you should bring it up.
right, that's kind of what I was getting
Yeah.
at. If you have a guarantee, like
Yeah.
you should probably say it, or even if
Exactly.
you don't have a guarantee, but an expectation, like
Yeah.
please say it, because a big point I want to make is promoting is costly. Somebody my age with not a lot of financial backing, like it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. The last show I did was a $1,600 show, easy.
My first show was my birthday, $2,700.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, and the most I've spent on
so
a
nervous.
show was like
God.
1,600
Oh, I
to
know.
2,000, and that's
Yeah,
a lot
right
though.
around
Especially
2K
like
and
I
shit.
was saving for a car. Like I had all these other goals, than throwing a.
So
badass
that's one
party,
thing
but-
from when I'm booking bands or things like that. At the end of the conversation, I will list out everything that expectations. This is the venue. This is load in. This is showtime. Here's
Yeah.
the day of show. This is what you can expect pay wise.
This is our deal,
Whether
yeah.
it's so that way it's all little. I can copy and paste that for
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, if it applies.
Yeah.
That way, all bands are on the same page. And
Yeah.
if you decide to ignore me up until day of show, I have still sent you the information, and
Yep.
there's an understanding. Right. Until
Yeah,
These
that's
are
super
the
important.
expectations of the night, and if
Yep.
you don't meet them, that's on you.
That's when I was doing things with Skeletons, I would actually type out emails to every individual band and have the breakdown of when they were supposed to be on stage, the expectation of how they were getting paid, if like they were splitting door, if they were like, hey, if we break 1,000 at the bar, you get an extra 100 or whatever else. All that was written out, and I would tell them to go ahead and kick me back yeah, that sounds good. So I had a email list of everybody in their band saying, yo, that's right.
And it's even more nerve-wracking when you're starting to do it like we did on that tour run, where you're dealing with venues and bands in other states that you've never once been to, and you're going and hoping
Yeah.
that
Fingers
every
crossed.
email that you've gotten and every call you've gotten is legit,
Right.
and everybody is on the up and up, and you're not showing up to a complete shit show.
So communication.
Yeah.
Setting expectations, clear communication. What do you expect? What are you hoping is going to happen?
Yeah, and I will say that's kind of muddy water as far as a promoter goes, because what I expect out of bands is for them to put as much energy into promoting the show as I am.
Yeah.
90% of bands don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's really also hard to like set those expectations and not be a complete like jerk at the
So
same time.
I will agree, but I also the caveat, and not to be super personal, but being in 5 bands, it's very hard for me to spread the love and be like, here's this show and here's this show and here's this. Because if I was on social media, my timeline would be full of just like all my shows, and I wouldn't be able to. That's actually how my music menu was born. because I didn't want to feel like I was bragging about just my shows. I wanted to support friends.
Yeah.
I wanted to support other venues. And I was doing that because What's Up, our local publication, wasn't really doing anything outside of print, which they've done a wonderful job now.
Yes, they've definitely changed things around.
They'll list things up. But I did it because it was like very specific rules. Like, it's a band that I would support. If I had all the free time in the world, I would go see this band.
You would be there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So even if it's a band in Michigan or whatever, like, I'm going to go see, if it's a band that I've shared a bill with, which I usually did that for a while, kind of like, hey, we just played with Ava Under Fire or whoever. So I'd share their stuff for a little bit, but obviously the network kind of breaks apart after that.
Yeah.
Or it's other bands that support us, or it's my friends. So made sure it was very close. Like, there were a lot of bands like, well, what about this band? I'm like, well, that cover band that's making $2,000 this weekend probably doesn't need to be on my menu because they're probably doing okay.
Yeah.
Even though they're friends, and I can speak from that.
Yep.
Even though they're friends, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. Dude, that took me 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes, to track all that down, keep track of everything,
tag everything,
Oh my God,
the tagging.
Oh, the tagging.
And you know how
when it
Facebook has always worked
at
actually pulling the proper.
I'm looking at you, OLC. Tagging you was so fun.
Oh yes, OLC was fun to tag.
Yeah. But we're kind of coming to the end. Is there anything you would love to plug that you got coming up soon, as far as stuff with the business, new ventures you're trying to lean into?
Well, I will just, dabble in a little bit of all that. My Facebook was recently compromised, so you can find me on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat only right now.
Okay.
That my Facebook business page also likely is going out the window as well. I don't have access to any of it right now. So very unfortunate, but I still exist outside of Facebook, and I need to let the world know that.
Yeah. So is your handle the same, Black Siren Productions?
Black Siren by Fallan is my Instagram.
And Fallan is Fallan.
Correct. Yep. So
not like Jimmy Fallon. Fallan.
It sounds like Jimmy Fallon, but it's spelled a little different.
Fallan.
Yes. Okay. So, you can get a hold of me that way, blacksirenproductions@gmail.com if you want to book anything, any live events. I'm pretty much independent at this point, so like any night of the week, if somebody has a show and needs a photographer, get a hold of me. Senior shoots, family shoots,
you can see some of her work since your page is down. You can see some of her work on our page.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can, our most recent actual photo shoot was...
Yeah, the most recent photo shoot and first show of the tour, actually, from last year, was shot by Fallan.
That's right.
On your Instagram, you do have,
I do have some work on there. Not as much as what I was posting on Facebook. Facebook, I hate to say it, but that's the spot for marketing and everything.
It is a juggernaut, man.
Yes.
It has been a struggle not to be on it.
I did think I did the data download thing at one point in time, and I was digging through all my hard drives last night trying to find it, and I didn't find it. So
she put it in a safe place. It's so safe that she doesn't remember.
You know how many files a photographer has?
Yes.
I believe that.
I can't even begin to estimate.
She's like, all right, New Year's resolution to learn how to actually file these. And so I can
in an organized manner.
Chris, your sixth job is now going to be her filer.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly Fallon's AA.
Yeah.
My life's a mess right now, including my files.
It's fine. So people are like, I'm waiting till my life gets better. I'm like, don't do that. It's never getting better. Just do it.
The funny thing is, too, I'm like a digital file hoarder. So
that's my wife, too.
Stuff from 10 years ago.
Dude, I'm the same.
That's my wife with TV shows and movies.
Jeff's laptop, just nothing but icons for everything.
Oh, I couldn't do that, though, Jeff.
So you're still looking to throw shows?
So the thing about throwing shows is I'm very particular in OCD, despite my mess of digital files, and I am looking for a particular venue to do my thing in. My shows aren't your normal monthly shows, weekly shows, whatever. Like, my shows are always going to be a big bang, a big
You like
party.
to do multiple genre. You like to do themes.
Yep,
and this isn't just...
These are strategies
for you,
I picked up along the way.
These aren't just like, hey, here's 4 bands, come check them out because they're cool. It's like, here's 4 bands because they're cool, and we're going to do a toga party, and there's going to be this, and there's going to be that, and like, we're going to throw streamers, and there might be fireworks, and like, no fireworks. But
yeah,
we actually played one of the toga parties.
Above 1601, when the Tin Caps played, there were fireworks every Saturday.
She's like, okay, show's over at 10:52. Fireworks,
and those are mine.
And those are mine.
Hey guys, let's go out and listen to the DJ on the patio.
You paid for those with the door cost. I literally would grab people and be like, there's going to be fireworks in 10 minutes. You might want to go out back.
Wait, you're not from Fort Wayne? I didn't let you know. Those are mine.
Everything.
Like I said,
that
she synced the
happened-
show
I
right up
planned
with the
those.
fireworks. She's like, yep.
my
like-
little sprinkle of Fallan on the night.
So you're still doing the photography.
Yeah.
You want to do some unique shows still.
I
you got
do.
a birthday coming up that we're
It's
gonna do.
just, yeah, we don't really know what we're gonna do with shows in the future. It's gonna take like a special circumstance sort of thing, you know. Because
So it's not out of the question. It's just not a rose.
it's just not in the plan right now because
Yeah.
I am paying off a car. So,
completely understand.
but
If I remember correct, seeing stuff, you were just getting your own shirt press and everything.
I was
though.
about to get there. Yeah, we are screen printing now officially, like DIY shirts. We can do definitely one color and two color, and yeah, we've done like 2 orders so far, and some exclusive personal Black Siren merch and Green Leaves merch and stuff like that.
I can vouch. She, I bought one at one of my shows, then she brought it to
Did
my
a
other
custom
show
one for him.
and wore it. Yeah,
There you go.
I saw
Tank
that
top.
hoodie you were wearing. Oh, I think it was a Black Siren hoodie.
Crop top hoodie,
doing
probably.
okay, Jeff?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sorry, I'm
Jeff's gonna
nervous.
puke into his mic if everybody was
Yeah.
curious.
Re-sanitize.
All right.
I appreciate that. But yeah, the screen printing stuff, it's been a big learning curve, but it's
Yes,
a lot
it
of
is.
fun once you figure it out.
Oh yes,
I
so
do
he
all
can
of our
speak
stuff.
For, he
Yeah.
can
It's
speak
in the back
33 prints,
of the
yeah.
basement over there. It's all my
Oh.
shirt press stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, I take care of all of the band's
That's great.
merch.
I love to hear it.
Yeah, it makes
Oh,
the
we trade
price
source-
point a
We'll
lot
have to
cheaper.
share some
He's going to
tips.
take you into the dungeon here in a minute.
I can't wait to see it.
Literally, he was so proud. He's like, "Come check this out." And I'm like, "Where are you? Where are we going?"
Shut up! You let me be proud of that.
Just so we're clear,
No, he secured some shirts for the kickbacks in a pinch, and it was
Yeah.
appreciated.
I had to convince him to take the shackles off the wall because it started to get weird.
It is really weird in there when they're up, I will admit. But honestly, if you're wearing
So,
like a
Fallon,
if
thank
you're
you for
wearing
coming
a
out to
big
actually
powder,
Contrøller. I appreciate you hitting me up today. We did
Just
have a
the
really
baby
long
powder.
rehearsal.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
are getting ready for our EPs. We will be recording
Yeah.
and meeting our production manager.
Yeah, our producer, we are meeting here in a couple weeks for
I didn't catch
our
any of
final
that.
meeting.
Can
I
you
know because you were
repeat it?
rambling. But yeah, we're in our final meeting here in a couple weeks. And
Oh, is that what you're repeating for me?
Well, we're
Yes.
also trying to wrap this up.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
rambling
right.
further.
yeah,
So Jeff,
and
shut
we are
up.
getting
So-
our last marching orders from our producer for what to change on all of the songs here after the 12th. And
This is where you all find out I'm fired before this gets recorded.
Yes, all the keys will now be on a sample pad.
it'll
yeah.
be down by my foot.
We'll be meeting our production manager. We're going to be in studio, tracking
6th.
drums, Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my only weekend off for the next foreseeable
tacos.
future. So now
Yep.
I'm busy.
Are we painting your face up like a candy skull?
And then
if there's black lights involved.
Oh,
Okay.
we literally have remote controlled lighting
Yeah, we
options.
I mean,
in
if
that
we want to,
basement.
if we want to document it, we got a
Yeah.
photographer right
Yeah,
here.
it's
pointing to
literally the
Should all be Sugar Skull kids.
the app. Our producer has the app
all
on his
of
phone
us.
that
I could see
the
it.
full
That'd be
track
cool.
lighting system in his
Good.
basement ceiling is all adjustable
Right
for full color huing,
Nice.
whatever coloring you
I'm
want.
just saying, if we want to capture the moment.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I know somebody.
So anyway, Fallon hit me up in the middle of our marathon today because we were trying to prep for that. So thank you for coming out.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks for having me.
Appreciate
It
you
was
having
fun.
you. Check it out, Black Siren Productions. Give your handles real quick again.
Black Siren by Fallan. That's Instagram, and I think
is that TikTok too?
yeah.
Okay.
And
TikTok
Fallon
too.
again
Yep.
is
Make sure you put the at
Fallan.
before on TikTok though,
Yeah.
because all handles always have the at on TikTok
Yes.
when you punch into the URL.
And then again, November 4th, come celebrate her Dirty 30.
Dirty
Get some pizza
At
and just come hang out. Like it's always a good vibe.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm excited
Oh,
for
it's
that.
just
Always a good
amazing.
vibe. So thanks again, Fallon. We
Thank
love
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
I love
you.
for coming.
guys.
And thank you guys. We love your guys'
Yep,
guts.
and we will catch you next week.
All love.
We will catch you next week.
That too.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Actually Contrøller. If you liked what you heard, please consider following us on all our socials. You can easily find us on all the different platforms by going to linktree/Contrøller33 or scan the QR code if you are watching the video version of this episode. Thank you.